Great little book. It wasn't a long read, more of a story format than like a manual. Technically, it's a manual. I mean, in a story format, it's a manual in a story format, listing several steps one has to do or recommended steps for a business to be sold. Essentially, the story essentially is about a marketing, a guy who owns a marketing agency or a marketing business doing small work, but he's the focal point, and he's kind of sick and tired and wants to sell it. And then he goes and meets his one of the people who knows very successful business owner, multiple business exits. So that's who kind of advises him, which is basically, probably John Warrillow himself. He's probably the advisor, essentially giving that steps. Um, and this is a great book to read if you're a business owner, first of all, and looking to exit and trying to figure out, like, excuse me, how do I sell it, and so on and so forth. That's number one. But I think it's also a great book to read if you're looking into getting into a business or buy a business, something like that, so that you can figure out how you build something that is sellable easily. That way, you're not the focal point and you can be a business owner, not the business operator. Great tips, One of the big things also learned is about, giving equity to employees, how that is not good in the sense that it can be tricky when you're giving, instead providing them a kind of a bonus structure that's, essentially maturing in time. That's a great tip, I believe, because one of the things I looked at, when I looked at business acquisitions and all that stuff, that's one of the things I was thinking about, like, hey, it would be great to have employees own part of the company, which is great, but seems like the better option is give them part of essentially the profits, but that mature in time so that they are more incentivized to be in the company. Anyway, that's one of the tips. The other tips are mainly other tips are mainly how to organize and build a team that operates without you and systemizing things, which is, great point, which I'm very passionate about. I've done a few things to systemize things, like, for example, I did Airbnb, where we kind of systemized things where we didn't have to go essentially manage the property. Pretty much we had people managing, we had things managing. All we did was direct people there. That's kind of an example, where I've learned that systemizing is great. And same thing, in my business, in my job, where I have led teams or built teams similar, right? If you build the proper processes, proper systems, then the team will be self-managed. You don't have to, like, be there constantly, or they won't even need you, which is a good and a bad thing, by the way. I found, especially job-wise, when you build really good teams and they're doing things without your need at all, you feel useless in a way. But ultimately, I feel like that helped me not only grow, but it helped the team people I had in my team grow. Many of them, at least three, four of them became leaders, managers, so on and so forth. So that was, anyway, that was very beneficial. But the bottom line is this book gives you, like, I think it's, I don't remember, 12 steps or something like that to essentially, essentially creating a business that you can exit out of, and then be it enticable for someone to buy, including how to, kind of do a business projection for the future, so people who are buying it or can look at the future, not just what the current money is, right? Current revenue is, or whatever the profit is, right? Anyway, great book to read, not too lengthy, perfect for anybody looking at business acquisitions or trying to buy businesses or have a business and trying to figure out how to get out of it and get cash out, essentially, maybe retire or maybe build another business, whatever the case is. Highly recommend reading this book if that's the case.